It's time for the Coach Groves Show, where we sit down with the head coach of the Darlington Tigers football team and talk about all things Darlington School football. Now we go live to Matt Davis and Ian Griffin, who are standing by with Coach Wayne Groves.
And indeed we are. It is time to roll with the first playoff edition of the year of the Coach Groves Show. It's time to lock horns in the playoffs. We've got Coach Wayne Groves with us here, and we're going to be talking about a road trip to Aquinas in Augusta coming up later in the show. But first of all, Coach, welcome in. It's great to have you back in the studio. How are you today?
Shoot, yeah, really good. Ready to get some Georgia high school playoff football going this week and see if the Tigers can go across the state and have some good luck.
Absolutely, man. Taking on the Fightin Irish coming up this weekend. Well, Coach, the regular season has come and gone, and with what is essentially a bye week for every team upon the conclusion of the season last week, we just want to know, like, how you've approached that situation in terms of, preparation for battle in the playoffs, balancing rest, putting in the necessary work and that kind of thing, because it's a little bit different than it's been in years past. I know they've done it for a couple of years, but it seems a little bit odd to have that bye week in between the regular season and the playoffs.
Yeah, so I think, everybody wants to make sure they get that schedule for the last couple of weeks right. And, you want to have a good balance of, getting ready for the opponent, but not doing too much or not, getting kids hurt. You want to make sure you get the players to the game. So last week, we kind of changed our plan, very similar to what we'd normally do on a bye week. So, Monday we watched film from the previous opponent and spend, time on that, and then did some walkthroughs. On Tuesday and Wednesday, we went ahead and had our full practice like we would normally do. We would normally go in pro pads, but we went in helmets last week. Just get a couple of days head start on Aquinas, get the initial game plan put in, and then we still, lifted our weights. We still conditioned, and then we're able to give the kids Thursday and Friday off last week. And then now we're back into this week, and we had a regular game prep. So, full pad practices on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Tomorrow will be our 6 a.m. morning Thursday run-through practice in helmets, and then we'll be suiting up and getting ready to leave early on Friday morning, heading to Augusta to play Aquinas.
Excellent. Well, it feels like it was an eternity ago, but the last honeymoon bakery icing on the cake player of the game was senior Miles Twyman on senior night. The guy gets his second straight game with a 90-plus yard kickoff return. Me and Matt had it booked at 99
yards, is that right?
Was that?
Yeah, 99, 98.
Okay, somewhere.
Gotcha.
We're close. We're
He's
close.
right in there.
But, Miles dealt with an injury in the first game of the season, and when he made that first kickoff return, we felt like he was back to full speed, but he sure put the afterburners on that kickoff return. So talk about Miles and just what he means to the team and his effort in that last game.
Well, we brag on Miles a lot, but he's doing exactly now what he would have done all year long if in the other games if it had been healthy. But he's back, I guess, probably close to 100% as you can possibly be, and he's making an impact every way he possibly can, whether that's at A-back, whether that's at B-back, whether that's playing a little defense, or whether that's on special teams. He's going to be a huge factor in our success in the playoffs, obviously. So that's what we expect from him. He's very strong. He's a powerful, explosive kid. And so, if he plays well among the other kids, if we're going to win on Friday, then he's going to be a huge part of what we do.
Well, Coach, when you look back at the regular season at this point, 10 games in the books, when you look at the season, you had 6 road trips to 4 home games, tons of adversity, a long season in a lot of respects, and a lot of opportunity for growth and to improve and things of that nature. So when you look at your team getting ready to go to the playoffs, what ways do you feel like this 10-game season has prepared them for the playoffs and how they've improved throughout the year?
Well, one, we've been battle tested. We've played some really good football teams, and we've had a lot of opportunities to get better throughout the year. The first thing is our ball security has gotten better as the years gone on. We were putting the ball on the ground 5 and 6 times a game earlier, and you have no chance of winning those games when you turn the ball over or you give the other team that many more chances. So that's gotten better. We've gotten better on special teams. Kickoff return has become a weapon again. Our kickoff team earlier in the year, we couldn't hardly cover anything. Our punt team, our punt coverage was bad earlier in the year, and now they're not getting any returns on that. So our special teams play has definitely gotten better and become weapons for us. And then we still have some room to do on defense. We still have to, learn how to get off blocks better. We still got to tackle better. So that's been, one of the key points of emphasis the last couple of weeks is, we've got to get better on defense. We've got to be able to get off blocks. We've got to be able to make tackles and not just get near the ball. We got to make tackles when we're there. So that's been the point of emphasis the last couple of weeks. And that's where we have gotten better, and that's where we're still working to improve.
Awesome.
Well, Coach, obviously the goal from this point forward is to win and advance and extend that season as long as you can. You just pointed out a lot of the things you've been working on, but have there been any other specifics that you've been hitting these last couple of weeks in practice?
Well, just tell them, just do your job. Don't try and do too much. We talk about in terms of, your job as far as the 100% of the offense and defense, we refer to doing your 9.1%. You don't have to do another person's job. You don't have to do anything extra. You just got to do your job to the best of your ability and trust your teammates that they're going to do theirs. We dealt with a lot of injuries this year. Besides the quarter one of the first game against Mount Vernon, that's the only time we've had our projected starters or best players out there on the field that should be playing. So it's given some, younger guys some opportunities to step up. It's given some young guys some opportunities that they wouldn't normally have. And now I guess we're getting close to being as healthy as we have. Not 100% yet, but we're as healthy as we have been. And it's a good time to do it going into the playoffs. So when you get to this point, my message to the team is, the records don't matter anymore. We've went through the injuries, we went through the adversity, we've went through some challenges, and we've had to work to get better and film analysis and practice to get to this point. So everybody's record is 0-0. And, all you got to do is go and, want it more than they do and then go out and execute. If you can do that, it's a game that we can win and we can get into the Sweet 16. And so that's been the goal is, just do your job, do it the best of your ability, and let's go over and see what can happen. So,
and on that note, Coach, in terms of the tone of practice and that sort of thing, the energy, how have you felt about that the last couple of weeks and get prepared for this first round game?
Yeah, I thought last week was good for us. I thought the energy was up, and I thought being able to give them the end of the week off last week was good. And then the energy's been really good the last couple of days. I think the kids feel confident. I think they're really solid in the game plan, and they're ready to go over there and prove something. So, why not us? Somebody's got to win. So let's go over and play our best football, and good time to do it in the playoffs. So hopefully our boys will go over and do what we expect them to do.
Well, I think that's a good place for us in the show to let you know what's coming up in the second segment of the show, but also encourage the folks that are watching this live on a Wednesday on YouTube or Facebook to make sure to make your plans on Friday to wear your purple and drive over, get on Highway 20 and Interstate 20 and go over to Augusta and support these kids. They've been working hard getting ready for this game. And the more energy you bring, the more energy they're going to have in the game. So make sure to be there. It's going to be awesome.
Sure, chill.
Now, if you can't make it, we will let you know that WLEQ is going to drag our little radio station in a box over there, and we're going to have radio coverage for you as well. But we certainly encourage you to be at the game. Well, in our second segment of the show, we're going to talk to Coach Groves about the Black Shirt Awards. We're also going to talk all region because that was announced in the last week or so. We're going to talk about the Getting to Know Coach Groves question of the week, which we're excited about coming up in the next segment and more. So we'll go ahead and take our first break. We'll come back for segment 2 after these messages. This is the Coach Groves Show. We'll be back.
Are you shopping for a new car, truck, or SUV? Riverside Auto Group has a location to meet your needs. Browse their selection online at riversideautogroup.com or visit with them in person at Riverside Chevrolet GMC in Rome, Riverside Toyota in Rome, Riverside Nissan in Rome, or Riverside GMC Cadillac in Cartersville. Locally owned and operated by the Welburn family since 1974. That's Riverside Auto Group.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Coach Groves Show Playoff Edition. We're talking Tigers football, but we're going to take a little trip in the DeLorean back 2 weeks ago and talk about the guys who earned the honor of wearing the black shirt. Who were those fellas?
And before you get into that, I do want to interject. It is November the 12th, after all.
It
That's
is.
the day
It
it went
is.
back to 1955.
Amen.
Just thought I'd mention that. Okay. Sorry about that, Coach.
That's pretty good. I'm not.
He's on point.
I'm a huge 80s fan. I didn't know that detail into the Back to the Future, but
I had a little help. I'll go ahead and let you know that.
All right, so black shirts for a couple weeks ago on offense, and it's for his blocking. And I know he carried the ball and he scored some touchdowns and all that, but Miles Twyman gets the black shirt. I mean, he's really, really come on in the last 3 weeks with his blocking. Has done a really good job, just selfless. And then, when he gets the ball in his hands, obviously he takes advantage of that and runs the ball really hard, but he gets the black shirt for his blocking on offense. So Miles Twyman on offense. On defense, he's probably 5'11". He's probably 155, 160 pounds if he's soaking wet. But he's playing defensive end for us, and he's played a lot of positions. He's played some inside backer. He's played some outside backer. But Grady Ferguson earned the black shirt. He graded out the highest on the defensive line, and he's just becoming really a technician and playing really well. Great technique up there on the defensive line. So Grady Ferguson gets the black shirt. On special teams, one of our newcomers that have come onto the scene with Ade being out for a couple of weeks, being back at home. So George Lovelace had a great surprise onside kick. Perfect, recovered it. So we thought George, for those efforts right there, he gets the special teams black shirt. On simulation offense, it's a kid that we've mentioned before, but he continues to keep working, keeps getting better, and shows up with a great attitude and does a great job in the weight room. But for his simulation offense, Nicky Brust, our freshman kid from Germany, he continues to get better and continues to help improve our team. And then on simulation D, another kid that's received black shirt before, he's another dorm kid. He's from China, and that is my safety, Ray Liu. So Ray has really come along. He's keeping learning, and I imagine he's probably going to get a little bit more playing time next year because of all the learning process that he's went through. But he practices really hard, and he's always a team first kind of guy. So those are our black shirts for last week.
Awesome, and congratulations to those young men. And also some more congratulations are in order because All Region team has been announced, and thought maybe we could talk about that for a couple moments and have you reveal those names to the audience of this show, if you don't mind, Coach.
So, what I tell the kids, and, I think All Region is a huge deal to be named All Region. And then the process of that is, all the region coaches, we get together, and we met down in Bremen a couple weeks ago, and you nominate kids for All Region. You nominate them, you give a little spiel on them, you talk about their stats and, what they mean to your team. And then after that, the region coaches vote. So, I'll get a vote, and then all the other coaches will get a vote. And then if there's ties, you got to re-vote and do all that kind of thing. But we had 7 kids that got All Region honors in some form or capacity or another. And they are Bryson Jones. He got first team offensive line. And I thought that's really good because we have a lot of really good offensive linemen in our region, but he stood out to the coaches. Obviously, he's a valuable contributor for us, but he also stood out to the other region coaches. So Bryson Jones is the first one. At running back, Miles Twyman, his first team All Region running back. Jace Donaldson, they put him at wide receiver, athlete. He plays, running back. He's played quarterback. He's played just about everything for us on both sides of the ball. But wide receiver, athlete, Jace Donaldson was recognized as first team All Region. And then we had some second team guys, which are wide receiver Trey Moore, and then 2 offensive linemen, Ty Wood and Lane Brasington. And again, for those guys to be nominated as All Region offensive linemen, where there's some really good linemen in our region to get second team, they definitely stood out on film. And neither one of those guys weighs over 170 pounds. So they're up there blocking their tail off. They're low. They've got a little grit to them and a little bit of nastiness to them up there. And that's the only way they can really survive and be successful. But Ty Wood and Lane Brasington get All Region honors, second team. And then Bodie Powers, who's been a solid contributor for us the last few years. Bodie was named honorable mention running back. And so, there's a lot of good running backs in our region, a lot of 800, 900,000 yard rushers. So really tough to get into that. But Bodie Powers was recognized by the region coaches as honorable mention.
That's an outstanding group of players there. that you got named all region. That's something they can be proud of going forward.
Yep, and four of the seven will be coming back next year, so that's always a good thing too.
Absolutely,
that's fantastic. Well, Coach, one of the things I wanted to talk about in this segment is obviously, in terms of experience football wise, you've seen it from a lot of different perspectives. Obviously, you played in high school, you played in college, you've been an assistant coach, you've been a coordinator, you've been a head coach for a few years, and you've experienced the playoffs and all of those, different aspects. So what advice do you give to players regarding making the most of the opportunity and relishing the opportunity? Because you only get so many over the course of your high school playing career. What advice do you give them in terms of motivation and things of that nature as they get ready to go for a game like this at Aquinas?
Well, what I've told them is, the most important thing is to let the kids know that these opportunities don't come every year. There's a ton of teams that wish they were in the playoffs right now and don't get that opportunity to extend their season. So, one, don't take that for granted. And two, don't let these opportunities slip by. I think kids sometimes they think that these opportunities are limitless, especially the younger kids. They think, oh, we'll just do it again next year. We'll do it again next year. And sometimes that doesn't come to pass. So we want to remind them not to waste these opportunities. Don't leave what ifs. Let's make sure we practice and we do everything we possibly can. Let's make sure that our film study and our game plan study is exactly what it needs to be. That way, at the end of the ball game, you can't say, well, man, on Tuesday, I wish I would have done something a little bit better. Or I wish I'd have practiced a little harder on Wednesday. So we talk to them about that and make sure that we take advantage of these opportunities and we don't leave what ifs behind. So, and if we can go in there together and we can give relentless effort, we have a chance to get into the Sweet 16. So just remind them that these opportunities are special and that, let's make sure we prepare the right way.
And I didn't plan on asking you this, so I'll just kind of throw it out there. But when you reflect on your days, as a coach, as a player, does anything stand out to you of certain circumstances of being a part of different playoffs or specific memories that are kind of top of mind with that? I mean, I know you've been doing it for a long time.
There was a pretty good defensive effort down at the Georgia Dome I watched live.
Yeah, exactly.
We've had some good, really good, ball games over the years, and obviously some that stand out. The going to Warner Robins in 17 and shutting them out in the state championship 38-0. That's pretty special. You go into the Benz in 16 when we beat Buford. It seemed like everybody in the state was pulling for us against Buford. Because how they recruit and do all this or that, whatever. But that was a pretty special. And then they really. They ran the opening kickoff back to the 1 yard line and they ended up scoring there, and then they didn't score anymore after that. So I kind of think it's kind of a sort of a shutout, I guess, against Buford. The game, Final Four game against Stockbridge was a really, really special game. Stevenson in the playoffs where they were number 2 and we went to their place and upset them. Good things happen in the playoffs, and I think the one thing you always want to do is you want to be playing. Those Thanksgiving morning practices are really special, especially in the coaching community, that you get to go and have a little breakfast meal with your kids, and then go out there and practice on Thanksgiving morning and do your walkthrough. Those are always pretty special. So those are things I hope we can experience. With this program at Darlington. Maybe this year or in the future, but. Again, those opportunities don't always come around every year. So when you get them, you want to make sure you take advantage of them.
Special time of year, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, last week, bye week for everyone in the state. Did you have a little extra time on your hands? Did you get to cook anything? Because the question we're asking you when we're talking about the getting to know Coach is, what is your favorite meal to cook?
Well, I'm a big breakfast guy. And so every morning, just about every morning, I cook my girls, Jess and Grace, and I cook my girls breakfast every morning. And it's just something I love to do. Saturday morning, I love to cook a big breakfast, and so that's kind of my thing. And the girls look forward to it, every day. Besides that, I'm quite the grill master. I can make a mean steak, and so when I'm required to cook, or when it's my turn to cook and share those duties, I get on the grill. But I'll tell you, and I'm gonna get some brownie points right here. But my wife is an excellent cook. I mean, during the season, there's not many nights that I don't come home that she's got a fresh cooked meal, and she is has all kinds of great recipes, and she loves to cook and entertain people. So I get to be the guinea pig on her recipes, but she makes hardly anything bad. Now, once football season's done with, I try to, help pick up the slack there and give her some nights off from cooking, because I get in late and there's really they can't wait till 7:30, 8 o'clock for me to cook. So she handles the blunt of that during the season, and then I try to return the favor in the off season. So,
Heck yeah. I'm a breakfast man myself.
Yeah, me too.
I love to cook in general, but I've got to ask you, since you said breakfast, when you go to the Waffle House, is it like watching a football game? In a way, you're watching the dream team in there, the way they're juggling all those pans. And can you flip the eggs?
Well, I don't flip the eggs.
You don't flip the eggs?
No, I'm not fancy. I just get it done.
Yeah?
I just get the job done.
All right.
So what's on the plate then?
Okay, so our go-to breakfast, we make eggs over medium.
It's the way. That is
eggs
the
over
way.
medium with like a little yolk in there.
Yeah.
Bacon, sausage, and then I'm a raisin toast guy. A raisin toast. You got to have the raisin toast. So that's our go-to breakfast at the house.
Well, last weekend, Matt gave me his old smoker. So for the first time, I've always been good on a grill, but he gave me his old Weber Smoky Mountain, and me and my boys stayed up overnight smoking a pork shoulder and some ribs. And so now I've got a new hobby. Thanks, Matt.
And in addition to that, I hooked you up with some tips in terms of where to learn to cook. And that is from, and this is a plug here for T. Roy Cooks, who's got his own theme song and everything. Right. And I've watched probably 20 hours or more, probably way more than that, of videos of this guy cooking barbecue in his backyard, learning how to do it. And I don't know, middle age is kicking in hard.
That's right.
You know it when you got a smoker and you start cooking all types of barbecue.
That's exactly what my oldest son says. Like, oh, here it comes.
Exactly.
That's fun.
So that's good stuff. Well, that's going to put a wrap on our Getting to Know Coach question of the week. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it's all about the upcoming opponent. Combining those words there, it's going to be the Aquinas Fighting Irish, and we're going to dive into that when we come back. This is the Coach Grove Show. We'll be right back.
Are you shopping for a new car, truck, or SUV? Riverside Auto Group has a location to meet your needs. Browse their selection online at riversideautogroup.com or visit with them in person at Riverside Chevrolet GMC in Rome, Riverside Toyota in Rome, Riverside Nissan in Rome, or Riverside GMC Cadillac in Cartersville. Locally owned and operated by the Welburn family since 1974. That's Riverside Auto Group.
And welcome back in, everybody. This is the Coach Grove Show Playoff Edition, Round 1, 2025. We've got Coach Groves with us. And, Coach, we'll just kind of dive back into our conversation. And as I mentioned, as we went into the break, we're turning our attention to the Aquinas Fightin Irish, which I know y'all turned y'all's attention to that as soon as the regular season ended and you found out who your opponent was going to be. But you guys are headed down I-20 to take on Aquinas. What can you tell us about this team from scouting these guys out and watching the game film?
Yeah, well, they're definitely a solid opponent, and they have a good football team, and they have a good football tradition. It wasn't too long ago that they won a state championship and were making some deep playoff runs. So, it's going to be a tough task. It's not going to be easy because they're going to have pride in their program, and their fans are pretty crazy. They say they have a really good pregame tailgate down there, and that the fans are really into it and all that. So. We need our Darlington Tigers and our fans down there in purple to match that kind of energy to help our boys win. But they're a good football team. On defense, they're a 3-4 defensive team. They're going to base out a 2-high shell, cover 2 and cover 4. On offense, they're a spread team. They've got some good linemen, a couple good skill guys, and a quarterback who is a D1 committed to Virginia. So they'll be tough to deal with, but we'll be ready.
Oh, you mentioned the quarterback, Coach, but who are the other players that stand out individually on film?
Okay, so the first one is the quarterback, number 10. He plays quarterback and corner. His name is Jack Rhodes. He's 6'1", 175 pounds. He's a senior. He's committed to Virginia to play receiver. Then you got number 2. He's a cornerback, wide receiver. He is their best corner, and he's their best wide receiver and playmaker in that aspect. His name is Christian Cates. He's 5'8", 155 pounds. He's a senior, very quick, explosive player. Then you got their best running back and their best linebacker is number 1, Elijah Hutchinson. He's 5'8", 175 pounds. And then you got 3 linemen that stand out. One on the defensive side, number 71, D-line, Divine Moretta. He is 6 foot, 225 pounds. He's a sophomore. He plays nose guard for them, and they're 3-4. And then they have 2 offensive linemen, number 75 that stand out. Number 75, Bennett Hamilton. He's a junior. And then number 79, Joe Dirt Gober.
No way.
He is a junior.
No way.
He is 5'10", 245 pounds, but Joe Dirt is a good football player on film. Can't make it up.
That's priceless.
Oh, man.
Have fun with that, Matt.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, so this is by a pretty good margin the longest road trip of the season. You've had some pretty long road trips. We mentioned the 6 that you took during the regular season, but I'm just curious, what are the logistics like? You mentioned that you guys are going to be leaving on Friday morning. So obviously a little bit more planning, implementing the plan and stuff like that goes into a trip like this. So how are you guys preparing for that aspect of it, Coach?
Yeah, so part of my job that's not always the fun part is, all the logistics and planning that goes into away games and away trips. So as soon as we found out we're playing Aquinas, that process starts. So we got to secure a travel bus, a charter bus, and start working on that itinerary, travel plan itinerary. We have to make sure we have because it's a 3-hour and 45-minute ride on the bus. Might as well say 4 hours. So you got to have some rest stop areas. You got to have your lunch secured, which we'll take the lunch. We'll get Chick-fil-A delivered that morning before we leave. We'll leave Darlington at 9:30 a.m. So we'll have Chick-fil-A delivered, and then that way we'll have it on when we get to our rest stop area and stretch our legs once we get past Atlanta and we get on the other side of I-20. And then from there, we will go straight to our pregame meal. We'll have our pregame meal at 3 o'clock at the Olive Garden in Augusta. And so we'll have grilled chicken, pasta, we'll have breadsticks, we'll have salad, and then we'll have water or lemonade to drink there with that. And then from there, we'll go to Augusta Christian School, and they're going to allow us to use their facilities for dressing, to do our team meetings, to do our special team meetings, to do our offensive, defensive walkthroughs, and then we'll tape, and then we'll head over to Aquinas about 5:45, 6 o'clock, and get ready for the first group to go out at 6:20 for pregame warm-ups, and then we're into our normal routine to play the playoff game.
Well, Coach, as we wrap up this show, we're excited about this matchup. You said it earlier. Why not us? What are the keys to success this week as you look to pick up a first-round win and extend the season?
Well, I think the keys are to show up and be the most excited team and be ready to be the most physical team to play. The second thing is to take care of the football. And the third, on defense, we got to get lined up, beat blocks, pursue and tackle well on defense. We do those things, we're going to be successful.
Well, the seniors had their moment to pick the uniforms, but that is over, and it's back to the head coach. What is the uni combo for the first round of the playoffs?
Well, I like that white-on-white Stormtrooper look, so we're going to travel on the road. We're going to go to Augusta, and we're going to wear the Stormtrooper look and try to get in the Sweet 16.
Awesome. Well, with that said, we do want to let you know there's not going to be a Darlington live stream for this game. I don't know if Aquinas has video or not, but we'll have a radio broadcast for you. So if you want to listen on WLAQ, if you can't make it to the game, we'll have it on 1410 AM, 96.9 FM on WLAQ14.com. You can listen there. But again, you should go to the game and
Absolutely.
be there. Wear your
Make
purple,
the trip.
Be loud and support these kids.
Go early. Eat at the Olive Garden.
That's exactly right. They see the team there. You never know.
Well, I heard there's a really good barbecue restaurant down there, too, that everybody brags about. And the name of it slips me. I've never been to it, but some people I know that are from Augusta and travel to Augusta a lot, so there's a really good barbecue restaurant down there that'd be worth checking out, I would say.
Awesome. And the other thing I'll point out, if you're going over there and you've never seen the golf course, you're not going to see it on Friday.
No,
if you
will
try
not.
to go over there, they will not let you take a peek. My dad's tried. He almost went to jail. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, just thought I'd throw that in there. Well, Coach, thanks for your time, man. We certainly, as always, wish you and the Tigers the best of luck and safe travels to the game. We look forward to seeing you over there. And, hopefully we'll be getting together coming up next week and doing this again.
Yep, shoot yeah. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. And my mom chimed in and she said go Tigers as well. So that puts a wrap on this edition of the Coach Grove Show playoffs, first round edition. And we'll talk to you next time on the Coach Grove Show. So long, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of the Coach Groves Show. We invite you to join us again next week as we discuss all things Darlington football with head coach Wayne Groves. Go Tigers!